I've heard Jay Bilas say time and again, he's so about player empowerment. And again, I like and respect Jay. We're actually friends. His wife, Wendy, is awesome. And Jay's a good dude. Just on this particular brand of topics, he is so free market wrong. It's stupid. It really is. And for a smart guy, he's the type of guy who's created this system of anarchy, and he's got to be kind of like the Joker in Batman, loving watching everything burn to the ground. But at what cost? And the biggest, newest one is not just overpaying players. It's over his insistence that the coaches, what does he always say? The coaches portal is always open. I knew this beforehand. But I know it even more now. Jay Bilas has no idea what he's talking about. It's one of those things where it's so offensively wrong that even as somebody who respects his other opinions, I struggle to listen to his other opinions because this one is so wrong. And I can only relate it to teachers versus students. If you're a teacher or you've been married to a teacher, your parent was a teacher, and people compare students and teachers in terms of their rights, and anyone who thinks they're anywhere close is an idiot, hasn't walked in their shoes, doesn't understand. A teacher has very much earned their way to their spot. You may not think the best things of these teachers, okay, but they've gone to school, they've gotten their teaching credential, they've paid the sacrifice, they've climbed the ladder, and maybe they have tenure, but they have tenure because they have been teaching long enough. It doesn't make them perfect, but it has earned them a special level of respect, and their jobs and their decisions are not anywhere close to that in terms of the students are so insignificant in proportion. And look, I'm just going to tell you, what Jay Bilas continues to tell people is 100% wrong. It is 100% offensive to anybody who is a coach, let alone a head college basketball coach. Yeah, I have a radio job. That's 3 hours of my day. Probably put in 4.5 when you get to prep, which consists of getting up in the morning, reading and watching and talking and whatever. Okay? But if you think that there's any sort of equation to the probably 10 coaches that have switched jobs to take other jobs? Maybe I'll give you 20. Maybe. I don't think it's 20. I haven't done the math because most of them are moving because they're replacing somebody who was fired. Okay, but let's say it's 20 who leave a job, not a Power 5 job, but oftentimes they leave a mid-major job to a Power 5 job or to another mid-major job, whatever. Let's say there's 20 out of 364, as opposed to in college basketball in the portal, more than half the kids are in the portal. But for a college player, what they're responsible for is themselves. And when I have players come into my office before and after the show or we're talking about things, I tell them all the time, you do not want this job, right? Because I have to do pretty much all the things that they have to do. You know, yes, they have to prepare for practice. I have to prepare for practice. They have to prepare for games. I have to prepare for games, right? They have to prepare their bodies more. I have to prepare them so they can see all that. And then that's just a fraction of the, what'd you do yesterday, Doug? Well, I got up in the morning and I had coffee with some gentlemen from the biggest Native American tribe that's close to Green Bay or close to Wisconsin Green Bay, our school, because we're trying to do a night where we honor Native Americans and play the top Native American university playing college basketball in either a real or exhibition game because our school is actually built on First Nations property, right? So we're doing that, and by the way, we want to raise money. Raise money, raise awareness, do all those things. Then you go and you talk all day in recruits. You go see your own team. You run your workouts. Then you get in the car. Then you go do your radio show. Then you go do an in-home meeting with, it never stops, nor should it. And I'm not complaining about the job. What I'm complaining about is somebody who has never actually coached, right? Jay was a grad student when he was at Duke. Okay, so you're a grad student. Obviously, you can't fully coach. But in any way equating the importance and, by the way, the lack of movement with college basketball coaches with the massive movement in college basketball players or even any of this mess that's college football. It's offensive, it's wrong, and it really waters down the rest of his opinions, which are really, really good, and he's calling his first NBA playoff games this year as well. Like, I got to hire people, I got to fire people. I got to find scholarships for guys. Some players I got to say, hey, if you want to play, this is probably not the place. I got to manage my own staff. I got to manage our guys academically, off the court. Got to pay it. Like, it's a lot. And to equate them in any way to players is offensive. It's wrong. I'd encourage Jay to stop because most people in the industry are just, they're past rolling their eyes. But if not, it starts to nullify some of his other opinions, which are probably closer or more, are accurate. But this one's so far afield. It feels like it's a hill he wants to die on. He wants complete capitalism. And again, we don't live in a complete capitalistic society. We don't. Right? We do not. Right? We actually subsidize different parts of our economy and limit parts of our economy in terms of our growth, smartly so. Because I've been in a purely capitalistic society. It was Russia. Play basketball there. There's the haves and have-nots, which is what, by the way, we're creating in college sports. Because we're on a path to 75 Division I programs, the rest not offering scholarships. That's the path we're on to. I don't know how quickly we'll get there, but we'll get there because the other schools can't afford to make these guys, whether they're real employees or employees without the name employees or not, can't afford it. Too many other things cost too much money, and this doesn't make enough money.